Not 3 check marks. That's good. All right, let's get this show on the road. Buenos dias. Hey, is that how Buenos tardes, buenas noches, wherever you may find yourself as you listen to this. You tune into the Only Sports Podcast with Brains and Bars. It's a black and white thing featuring A1 and A Ward. Please remember you can check out every episode of It's a Black and White Thing by going to the podcast app of your choice, wherever you get the good podcast. Give us 5 stars, leave a comment. You can also check us out on YouTube by searching for Brains and Bars, hitting the subscribe button, hitting the like button first, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Tell a friend and tell a friend it's those boys again. And we also talk to you if you jump in the comments. So talk to us, we talk back. You can also check us out on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, all at Brains and Bars. And as you can see, I'm not by myself. I got my Cody, my guy Ward in the building. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot, man. Not a whole lot. Good Tuesday. Um, just chilling, man. About to get to work. Got a lot of stuff coming up. So, yep. Nah, that's where I'm at with it right now. What about yourself?
Yeah, man. Life is good.
How's the mail industry on like a Tuesday after a President's Day? Is it like chaotic, like after like that kind of like when you have a holiday, a federal holiday?
So the mail industry is it can be, especially when the holiday falls on a Monday. I didn't look, I'm not, I'm in charge, so it's not my job to actually sort to do that part of the job. The guy who does it does sit across from me, and I didn't even look his way to see how many tubs of mail he had.
Yeah.
But it can be pretty crazy. Like I said, coming off a weekend, but I don't know. I'm
Ain't my
assuming it wasn't too
problem.
bad. It's not my problem. All I know is when I looked over there were no tubs.
There we
There
go.
were no tubs. So anyway,
Call that
um,
man Tubby Smith. That's his
that's
new nickname.
hilarious.
That's his new nickname
That's
at work.
hilarious. Tubby Smith is fire. Like
Yeah.
I don't I'm not he's a sports fan, but I don't know if he's that big of a sports
Yeah,
fan.
he not gonna respect it. No.
Yo, that's crazy. Hold on.
Tommy
So
Tuberville. Tommy Tuberville. Yes.
I love it. I love it. I definitely yeah. So I definitely got to make sure that the next person we hire is a sports fan. And so that way, like, I'm going to be like, yo, I'm calling you Tommy Tuberville, my guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure what is happening. So Twitter's having a problem like usual.
Yeah. Probably because you keep
Yeah.
calling it Twitter. And it's told you over and over. Its name is X.
Then I guess we just gonna have problems there because I'm never going to stop calling it Twitter. It's always going to be Twitter from henceforth
Yeah.
and forevermore. All right, cool. I mean, it says we're live, but like it's not showing that we're live on. Let me see if I click on it. Yeah, it's not showing that we're live on Twitter. But anyway,
Oh well.
that just means you got to watch it on YouTube, guys. Anyway, so we got a good show going on. We're gonna talk a little bit about the NBA. We're gonna talk about the All-Star game. We're gonna talk about tanking. But before we do that, let's get into an announcement that was made today. I believe this was Straight Drop Media.
Yep.
That got you for the homie price.
They got
Um,
me for the homie price.
uh, you and Chess was just announced on their card, which has I'm assuming the main event is Verb and T Top,
Yep.
but you were just announcing that card. So let's get into that, man. Like I feel like Chess has battled 3 of the 4, right? He has not battled Street Hymns. He battled
Correct.
Loso,
I
he's
will be the
battled
third. Yeah.
Saga.
Yeah.
Is there any as Luke Castro, is he the only one who's battled all 4 of y'all? I think that is battle rap trivia history. He battled Street in the PGs. He took on Loso, and he had Saga in like I think it was just a 1 rounder, but he has battled Saga and you. He is the
Yeah,
only person I
because
think that's
Kid
battled all 4 of
Chaos
y'all.
has battled 3. I've never battled Kid Chaos. Chef Trez has battled 3. I don't think he's battled Street Hymns.
I don't think so.
Chess will be 3. Um, yeah, not even Dre Dennis. I think I don't even think Dre Dennis has battled. He's never battled Loso or Street. Yeah, so it might be that Luke Castro is the only battle rapper to have battled all 4 horsemen. and lost to all four horsemen. Hey, big dog.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, cool. That's a bit of battle rap history right there.
Yeah, I got to
little
look
bit
at
of
Street's
sneaky
resume
battle
because it
rap
really always
trivia.
boils down to Street, like because he just doesn't battle as much as Miloso and Saga. So you really got to look at Street's resume and then be like, okay, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I mean, all the names that you guys would have had in common don't meet the criteria. So, like, obviously, you never battled street battle Bad News, didn't you?
Nope.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
okay.
Street battled. Man, who all did he battle in bullpen? Oh, he battled Bricks. He battled. Jeez, Riggs. Oh, Riggs. Riggs battled.
I
No,
don't think he
Riggs ain't
battled
battled.
Loso. I don't think he's battled Loso or Saga.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Well, what
Okay.
about Street in the Grand Prix? He battled Loose Cipher. He battled.
Has Lucifer battled Saga?
No,
I
and he
don't
hasn't
think.
battled me. He battled Loso and Street. Yeah. But yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
That's a good research.
I think we got the answer. Like, I don't think dang, what's the name? So Severe. Like, did you battle have you battled So Severe?
No.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's it, bro. I think the only one to battle all four of y'all is Lucifer. Like, that's a little piece of sneaky battle rap trivia. Now you got me looking up Zay Smooth. Jerome was a red flag, Lotta Zay, Flacco. Flacco, you never battled Flacco, but Flacco's battled Loso and Street. Danger Zone. That's the battle I was thinking of. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
there's a pretty popular battle. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool, cool. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. So
We had a comment about they didn't like the name of this title of this episode. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. Shout out to Sheldon M. Um, but yeah, so chess, man, talk to me about it. What you think? How you feeling?
yeah, T Top called me one night. I was standing in front of the roulette wheel at the casino, and I was like, "Dang, I really want to put some more money on." No, I'm just kidding. No, um, nah. T Top had hit me up. Actually, I saw him when I went to go support Marv One when Marv battled T Top, and he's like, "Yo, I need to get you on No Cut too." And obviously, I've been trying to battle in every state. I never battled in North Carolina before, and so that's like one I'm like, "Dang, how could I? How have I never battled in North Carolina? Like they have plenty of events there." So I'm like, "Yo, I really want to battle in North Carolina." So I asked him for a couple different names that weren't chess because chess to me, is I'm not saying it's a URL battle. It can happen anyway because I'm not a kind of guy where things are a URL battle. Like I've never been that. But he is definitely a name that I can see URL wanting to book me against. And so I gave T Top a couple other names. And he's like, those are cool. Those are cool. But I really need like a co-main event. And I'm like, well, co-main events a little different tax bracket, you know what I mean? But the homie price is the homie price. Like it's like, you hold each other down, you do it for what you could do it for. Um and so when he came back, with chess, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm not mad at that, man. I mean, this is like a heavy front loaded part of my year. You got official, you got jazz, you got chess coming up. And you have another one that's not announced yet too. So it's like for being the first 4 months of the year, like those are some big names. And normally I'm always sprinkling like a Joe Schmo in Iowa in between them, but like that's just not happening this year. So I just want to be locked in, be ready to go. I hate that. I hate that like people think that like chess has ran through the horsemen because that's really just not the case. Like if you got him beating Saga, cool. You got him beating Saga. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much everybody's got a consensus. But I think him and Loso's a very, very good back and forth. Like I don't think chess clearly beat Loso at all. And so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this whole idea of like he's been running through the horsemen is super wild. So hopefully we can go in there. We have a really good matchup, man, and then we put on because I know the whole card, and me and Chess should be the battle of the night.
Mm, mm. So I saw uh you and Snake Eyes have a brief back and forth after it was announced, and which it cracked me up because in the battle rap group chat we're in, I said Snake is in kind of an elite territory in
Hmm.
that he's one of, I think we got to like maybe 20 names that has battled Geechee, Twerk, and Rock, which I think is a pretty cool list to be in. Snake, I talked about Snake having a very sneaky resume when you really look at the names he's battled. Um, but you brought up the if factor, right? I know you talked about, somebody might have brought up, I forget the order of the tweets or whatever, but you brought up the if factor with Chess. So that's what led me to this point. Do you think Chess shows up prepared for you 3 rounds?
So Chess has like a lot of battles as well coming up. Like I mean, he has multiple battles that I've seen him on flyers, and then I know of another battle that he's got. But I've not really paid too much attention to his career when he's like heavily, like battling like that. But if history repeats itself, like I mean, when he battles us, he shows up. Like he seems to have something he wants to talk about. When he battles the Horseman, and he gets his rounds out, and he's very good. And so that's what I'm going off of. Um, that's what I have to go off of, because man, I can't. I mean, like I said, 140 something battles, bro, and I can maybe count on one hand the amount of times people have choked against me. Like it just doesn't happen. Like it never happens. And so I always expect the best, and that's a scary thing with chess because the best chess is probably a top 15 battle rapper in the world.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's been around for a long time. It's been around for a
Yeah.
long time. I think my first introduction to chess, unfortunately, was him versus Saint Mike. When
Yeah.
when you had got booked versus Saint Mike, and you were like, Here's some battles you need to check out." And so I don't think chess is even 30 yet, right? Like I think he's still
No,
like
I would.
mid,
Yeah.
he's like mid to
Uh,
late 20s, I think. So I mean, like
yeah.
he's been battling since he was like 15, 16
Yeah.
years old, if not younger than that. And so speaking of though, because you've been around now, this is year 10,
11.
11. Okay. So at this point, what's the motivation? Like what keeps you, obviously you have things that you want to knock off your bucket list, obviously of battling in every state, but at this point, what keeps you going in year 11? Like you technically, the final Infinity Stone was gracing the URL stage. You've done that. Um, that the initial battle was well received. The battle against Jack Boy was very well received. So you're 2 for 2, at least in terms of your side of things. Uh, but what keeps you motivated at this point to keep going?
That's a good question, and I think it's just something I have to find every year. Like I don't think it's something that's like that kept me motivated last year or the year before or the year before. Um, and I'd be lying if I didn't say it wasn't tough right now, like with the state of what battle rap's in, because um, for a long time, the motivation was, like just the fans showing up, the excitement, the competitive nature of my peers, the getting to do what I love, building relationships, making a living and stuff like that. And 2026 so far, and even kind of going into the end of 2025, has just been a weird feel, like battle rap wise, and to the point to where um the things I love doing, are not even really like it's not an excitement or an energy around that kind of stuff, you know um and if there is, it's very very um it's very like, all right, that was cool, on to some other stuff that I got that I cared nothing about, you know what I mean. um because like when I was there watching Rum Nitty and Kid Chaos live, and I was watching Rum Nitty just go crazy, and Kid Chaos go crazy, I'm like, bro, this is exactly what I love about battle rap. Like I'm like a viewer. I'm like listening. I'm so inspired. I'm hype. I'm excited or whatever. And a performance like that people put all their effort into. Gets the very little coverage, very little whatever, and then everything else is just kind of a shit show, for lack of a better word, right now. So that's tough. I just think for me that, like, what I've told multiple people, is I can't get caught up in what the 10% are talking about because I visually think like the Twitter and YouTube comments and the bloggers and all this kind of stuff. I really feel like they are like 10% of the eyes that are on these battles. Like what I actually see, you know? Now it's 100% of what I see every day. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this culture is just whatever. But I think I just got to make sure that I don't get caught up with the 10%, and I realize that there's a hundreds of people in Toronto right now that aren't on Twitter, aren't in Facebook groups or whatever, that are ready to see me go out there and get crazy against Jazz. There's tons of people that are in Charlotte, North Carolina, that can't wait to see these battles. There's people, you know what I mean, and there's still so much excitement, and people are still huge fans of like battle rap. And so I think that's the motivation there. And then for me, um, I still have a lot of people, that I think that are competitively on my level that I'd like to compete with. So I don't feel like now I'm just doing favors and gatekeeping. I don't feel like I'm in a position now where I'm like, all right, I'll give you a shot. I'll give you a shot. I'll give you a shot. I feel like there's multiple names, still left that are on my level that are like, yo, I want to see if I can beat this person. I want to see if I can beat that person. So from that standpoint as well. So and then like I mean, yeah, it is obviously a great source of income as well. But um, yeah, it's definitely a weird world battle rap wise right now. But I think that the focus is like, hey, you got here by taking every battle serious as if it was like the Super Bowl of matchups. Like keep that mindset, and things will work out.
Oh, this question from Sheldon: is A Ward looking to retire in 2026? Like a good portion of battlers.
Yeah, no, not at all. Like, battlers, quote unquote, retire. I always laugh at that idea because it's not like there's a pension or a 401k or something waiting on them. Basically, battlers just say, "Hey, I quit." Like I'm done doing this. Um, and quitting. Obviously, they don't want to be called quitters, but um, like I don't think that I'll ever really like quit. I think battle rap's gonna be like that one job that like at some point in time they just stop taking you on this, they stop putting you on the schedule. For me, like I think for me it's like, yo, my availability is always gonna be there to rhyme, write, perform, and everything like that. But if it does ever get to a point, and I always say like words don't have knees. It's not like Father Time like catches it's not like I can't jump anymore, I can't run anymore like in a sport would be. I'm like, yo, if it comes a point in time where it's like I'm just so disconnected, or I'm just not able to perform or put on a good show, or to be worth paying, to come out, fly and pay to come out and put on a performance, then I'll just ask, I'll just be taken off the schedule, and I'll sit back and love it from a fan standpoint. But I don't think that's anytime soon. But I do say this much: as much as I love to compete, as much as and I said this before I started battling, like if I'm not making money doing it, like it takes a lot of your life. Like, and it's not just the writing and rehearsing and memorizing and performing. It's the staying in the culture, staying in the know, having the conversations. Like I look back and I'm like, yo, the last 10 years of my life have been weekly calls with battle rappers, friends becoming great friends with battle rappers, watching battle rap, knowing about every single day of my life, and it's convicting. It's convicting because it's like, yo, that's crazy. Like, can I say that I've spent every single day of my life, you know, praying or reading the Bible, or every single day of my life, looking at the future of my family or my finances or whatever? But no, I literally could probably say every single day of my life for the last 10 years, I've spent time with battle rap.
Yeah. I mean, so not to get too philosophical, um, 'cause I didn't know this necessarily this is the direction we were going, but I think that is something to take into account. But I also think that I know people talk about like being in a flow state, but I also think that when you're in the moment and when you care about something and when you're passionate about it, I can attest to this when I'm working on something for this week in the NBA and I hit a good flow pocket from a writing standpoint, right? Or when I'm editing and the edits are just hitting and it's now like 11:30 at night, everybody's gone to bed. My wife has gone to sleep because she stayed up as long as she could to wait for me. Like when you hit those moments, like you're just locked in because it's something that you're passionate about, something that you care about, and you want it to be the best possible version of whatever you craft that you're working on. And so I get that. I get that. But I also think, like you said, that there's a time for self reflection too.
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah. Hold on. This says if when Ward decides to remove his laces, he has a bright future as the Christian Harry Mack. That's hilarious.
I love that. I love that,
That's
man.
hilarious.
One day I might actually start sharpening that gift because I can freestyle. I can freestyle on beat too, But I might have to start sharpening that gift to put it into some like performances and stuff that I do when I'm at churches and different things like that because it's always fun to be able to rock out with people. The whole give me some words. Who incorporate. That's a good thing, and I can do it. I've done it once or twice before at a show. But it's definitely something that you have to like he's really created like a supreme lane for himself. I don't know if you saw the clip of him at the All-Star game when he was doing it with D Wade, Ludacris, and Kelly Rowland and stuff. It's like, wow, this dude really just puts a beat on and stands in front of his computer and just freestyles what words people say, and now he's performing at the All-Star game. And so it's like that's dope. But yeah, thank you. I definitely have a part of that skill set, but yeah, who knows?
So, what do you think battle rap needs in this? What does battle rap need in this moment? I agree that it's in the weird place. I it kind of feels like if you were for those who were in the know, if you lived in Kansas City, Kansas City had a pretty big Christian hip hop scene in the late to mid 2000s. And then one day it just kind of went away and it never really reappeared. It feels kind of like it's in that space. Like I don't know because so many battle rappers start so young in life. I don't know if they're just all getting kind of old and they just now have no other interests. They still know how to rap, but it just doesn't hold their attention like that anymore. I don't know if that's true for the audience.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think battle rap needs right now to get on? I don't want to say on the positive side of things because that makes it feel like everything is negative and it's not. But what energy does the battle rap culture need right now to get it in the right direction, going in the
And
right
I think
direction?
that's it. It's like there's only a handful of people within the culture that can shift energy, that are energy shifting like type of people, and what it needs is it needs those type of people to care about the battles rather than everything else, and that goes for like even URL, like Beasley and Smack, like they're behind. They're not in front of the cameras. They're not in the spaces. They're not, they don't or whatever. But they are types of people that can book or can promote or can put on tournaments or can do different things that puts the battles at the forefront of what people are talking about. You know, Surf when they were doing Midnight Madness. Guess what? It was about the battles. The energy was about who can we get
Mhm.
to battle each other? You know, like the spaces where like we're gonna bet 10,000 on A Ward versus Chess. Hitman Hollers like I got 10,000 on A Ward. Surf's like I got 10,000 on Chess. It's about the battle. People are excited to see with the battles. Like right now, the energy and everything. People are just so drawn to the mess and the drama and the everything else that's around battle rap, and there's not anybody that wants to get it back to like, yo, check it out, like these are some cards, these are some. And it's twofold. It's like one, because it just those guys are the people that could do that. Like Hitman's playing basketball, Surf's obviously not free yet. you know Beasley and Smack and them seem to be running, URL as more of just an operation that throws on events rather than like a like in your face, like the cult. You know what I mean? Like for me personally, and like I said, they're my bosses part time. So I mean, I'm speaking just from a transparency place. But like the other people that are part of that, Jay Black's on his way out. He's not doing Champion of the Year anymore. You know what I mean? Last year was his last year. It's
This
just
year.
so
Well, technically, you're right. You're right. This year, last year, but I got you. I
correct.
got you. My
You know what
fault.
I mean? So it's like so many people are just navigating from. And so I just think the oversaturation of all the leagues and there being battles every month on all kinds of different leagues, and the lack of accountability on no shows and choking, and the just the constant like hey, we just want to get together and talk about people and not talk about the raps is really what's disheartening and makes people just not want to pay attention, Um, and so, it needs, unfortunately, and I don't know that I have that much pull or that ability to do something like that, but it needs something, like a Midnight Madness, like a Ultimate Madness tournament, like a Grand Prix or a I don't know, something that draws everybody's eyes back to talking about the battles, because right now everybody just wants to talk about the drama.
Yeah, I mean, so a couple of places that I think are doing good things. Shout out to WTBL. They have their women's tournament. I think the next round is getting ready to commence here pretty soon. Shout
Yep,
out to our Society Battle League. They have Welcome to the O event that's getting ready to pop off. I saw a dope list from their battle from their page on Twitter. If you are visiting, they put a list of restaurants and community spaces, lounges,
that's
clubs
fire.
where if you want to, if you're from out of town, don't know where to go, you got places to eat, you got places to hang out and do some cool stuff while you're there. So shout out to that as well.
Yeah.
They also, I believe, them and TBL might have a joint venture that they're working on that's coming out. And then also it's Detroit versus Jersey. Is that Calico?
I mean, I don't think
I
that's
think
that's
that
the that's the theme so far, but I don't think that's the theme of the card. So far, yeah, Calico. We have no cut on April 4th. Calico's throwing his event on Easter Sunday, April 5th. And so you got the Calico Suge rematch. That should be pretty interesting. That's a Suge back in Detroit. Yeah, and then you Marvel and Twerk and Quest and O-Red right now. So those are three really good matchups for that card. So there's cards with good matchups. It's just how do you get people to care like in the moment, you
yeah.
know?
So I think to me, I've thought about this, and this was a quick thought I had, and we can move on to the sports side of things. My thought was I don't so you don't watch The Wire,
No, I've
but
never
like
seen it.
in The Wire, there is a point where all of the dealers meet, right? It's like a sit down, right? It's a parlay. I think it's what they call it, parlay. Forgive me, civilian here. So if I get it wrong, please
And say
forgive me.
parlay, I start scratching my neck. So do me a favor, just use different terms.
So they meet up and they sit down to discuss the state of the business. And I think that needs to happen. I think between obviously at this point, URL is the big dog. King of the Dot is here and there. TBL, I would say those are the biggest brands standing at this moment. To me, there needs to be a meeting of the minds to say, okay, we need to put our collective energy, ideas, resources together and say it's almost like WWE and you have NXT, you have TNA, right? And we're going to work together to create an ecosystem where we throw these cards on. No disrespect to Black Mafia, Bullpen, Straight Drop, right? I forget the name of the Joan out of Philly, not Philly, but Pittsburgh. Um, that
Street
you've been
talk.
on, Street Talk. No disrespect to even something like the trenches, right? I'm pretty sure I've heard Smack talk about Easy. I don't think that Cold War is going to thaw at any time soon.
Right,
But
right.
if it were, let's all come together and say, hey, you small leagues, we need to use you as branding for the come up, right? Like we're going to start developing these battlers and they're going to start out on your league, maybe against their peers, right? And as they start to prove themselves to be marketable and to be talented people, we start to push them up through the ranks. And as we go through the ranks, now they get to battle some of the bigger names. And I hate to use this word as gatekeepers because that's unfair to what they are. But I think of people like Danny who gives shots to anybody. I think of people like Suge who gives lots of shots to people. I mean, listen, I know at this point, I know you talk about you don't consider yourself a gatekeeper, but I also think you're one of those people where at certain points of their career, as they rise the ranks, they're going to meet you, right? Maybe
Yeah.
that's a little bit early on, maybe it's a little bit later.
Hmm.
But at a certain point, you start to meet these names, and as you show and prove, you continue to move up until then you start to hit the TBLs, the King of the Dots, the URLs, and it becomes more of an event, and you get a chance to watch their career. Because like you said, you'll see a guy on URL today battling a decent name, and then the next week they're on so and so league battling chess, and it's just like, well, there's really no progression there. They're just kind of, you're just kind of floating in the ether, and you're trying to create something on the fly versus someone sitting down with you and saying, okay, I've watched you battle 3 times. You have potential. Here's how we can craft that and make it into something bigger.
Yeah,
As you were saying, I think of someone like, I feel like Capo. I've told Capo this to his face. I think he has the ability to be a star in his culture. He promos
absolutely.
extremely well. He raps extremely well. I know people didn't love the fake beef between him and Spills, but like he creates a little bit of energy
Yeah,
without it necessarily being messy energy.
yeah,
It is battle rap energy, and that's something I feel like, again, that league should look at and say, we should invest in that. We should look, how can we cultivate that and make him into something more? When you silo yourself and when you say, this is my league and we only deal with select people, then there's, if you're not URL, you're cutting yourself off from a talent based standpoint, from a fan based standpoint. And I just think at this point, for battle rap to really take the next step and to get out of this funk, to me, that's what needs to happen. It just needs to be a meeting of the minds. We're going to align ourselves together, and we're going to have a common goal of making the best battles for each league, the best battles for the culture, and the best battles for the fans. So that's just my thoughts, man.
yeah. I think that too. Like, there's a couple other things. It's like when battle rap was its best, when the leagues were pushing each other. You know, when there was a when the battlers were speaking for leagues. You know, like I obviously I hated hearing like, oh, you're not on URL, it don't count. But there was a group of battlers that were URL guys that were like, yo, y'all are nothing till you come over here. You know what I mean? That doesn't exist anymore. Those guys are everybody's guys now. You know, like there's not that type of energy. You know, and then two, um, oh, what was after caffeine and as battle rap, all these leagues started. Battlers themselves went from battling to for respect for their name, whatever, to battling for a living. And whenever you start doing anything for a living, you're just clocking in and you're clocking out, just like any other job. Even though it might be considered a fun job, it's just another battle. And the culture can sense that. You know what I mean? And it's like the minute you went from respect, climbing the ladder, making more money, getting on this platform, being on Summer Madness, battling this guy, whatever, like all of that, to like, nah, I need to bring in $6,000 to $8,000 a month to pay my bills. That it's very telling, you know.
Mm, yeah, yeah, fair. So last question, and then we can move on. If there's a new talent that's coming into battle rap, I mean, and like you maybe you saw him. I'm going to use the Connects, right? Let's say the Connects are still around. You see this young man on the Connects, very impressive performance, maybe third battle ever. He sees you, yo, Ward, big fan, yada yada yada. What do I need to do to be successful in this industry? How do you answer that question for him? What is your response? Or her, by the way. I don't want to limit it to gender.
Yeah,
Him or her. One
I
gender.
don't know anymore. You know, I still think that it's the same. Like, be unique. Like, you know, treat every battle like it's, you know, like it's like your first impression. Um, find ways to network with the right people. Invest in yourself. Like when you get to the right time, like buy you an opponent to put your, But I think those are all things. But it's like now everything is just kind of cliquish and kind of like I don't see very many people looking for the next guy to be a
Mm,
star. Most of the time, I think people are looking for the next guy that'll come do a battle for free. You know, like I just don't see that scouting. That like I don't know who that would be. You know, um, I don't see it from Organic and King of the Dot. RBE's not doing that kind of stuff anymore. Um, URL, like that Crucible process is kind of like a dud. You know what I mean? Like they probably got to go back to the drawing boards. You know, WTBL's doing a good job of with the women of trying to find that next female. They're doing a good job. With Primo's doing a great job over there. But from the male standpoint, maybe Kales with our society, maybe I mean, obviously, and this all of everything I'm saying does not apply to iBattle because iBattle is like they literally do it the exact right way. Like there's nothing bad you can say about iBattle. But like, Lex is always cultivating new talent and doing that. So honestly, I would probably tell him, hey, I don't know if this is like style fit, whatever, even though that's a melting pot of battle rappers. I would probably, if somebody was on, I'd say, listen, put together a couple nice battles here in your hometown or whatever, or around here, drive to St. Louis, try to get on a card, you know what I mean? Do what you gotta do, and then go work with iBattle. That's probably our iBattle or our society. I would probably send them those two leagues and be like, go work with those people. They're professionals. They'll give you a shot, be a professional, and put on.
Hey, Sydney, get off my guy Ward, man. Get off my guy Ward. He has been on his weight loss journey. He's dropped a few lbs, man. Ease up, ease up,
Yes.
ease up.
I'm down 9 pounds, but I got stuck, man. I've been down 9 pounds for like the last 2.5 weeks. So I gotta, I gotta,
Hey,
I got a jump rope over here. I'm about to just, I guess, start doing that, and then I gotta figure out something else because the first 9 pounds was easy. It was like it took me about 3 weeks, but the last 2.5 weeks, it ain't changed nothing. So
man, we got to get in the gym. We got to get in the gym. Hopefully, we can do that this weekend. But no, first of all, pardon self. I completely forgot about iBattle, and that is my fault. So pardon self. Yes, our society, iBattle, definitely do it the right way. Creating talent, cultivating talent, raising talent. You look at most of the new names that are making any type of noise in the culture. They are from those two
yeah,
leagues
definitely.
almost exclusively. Like shout out to the trenches. Trenches has got a couple of guys who, even though a
Yeah,
lot of them,
King,
there's been
King
a
is nice. Yeah,
King, Dre Majesty. I know there's been some issues with some other names, Tex, Muwap, or whatever, with Easy, but those guys have shown that they have talent and they have potential. So yeah, absolutely. I battle our society. Those are the two. Get your footage right. Work on. I think to me, I would say you got to be marketable, man. You got to create a community of people who will be willing to ride for you the way that people ride for yourself, for Nitty, for Rock. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So yeah, I think that's it. We went
yeah,
about
that's
30
good.
minutes on this topic.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
um small meals, so change up your eating habits, small meals with more protein. I'm applying it to myself because I've plateaued after I've made some good progress. So I would definitely try that. But anyway, hit us up, man. This is a very interesting conversation. I feel like at least once a year we have a really good back and forth about the state of battle rap. And so I'll definitely be promoting this tag. I normally don't tag people, but I tag some
Tag
folks.
'em, yeah.
Man, check this out. So yeah, let us know what you think. Hit us up at Brains and Bars with any comments, whether that's on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So let's jump into the All Star weekend. It was unfortunate for me that kinda because I enjoyed myself. I didn't see a lot of All Star weekend. But I was hanging out with
You
my
was over
wife
there
all weekend.
crying watching that movie.
So, Wuthering Heights. What did you think of this movie?
I didn't go see it. I gave the tickets to Rachel and her friend.
You see, this is your problem, Ward. You're not a yearner. You need to
But
learn how
I'm
to.
glad when she came home and she was like, "Listen," she's like, "I almost had to walk out the movie theater and like take a walk and come back inside." She was like,
You know what? I'll say this: they had a lot of stuff going on in that movie, but there was very little nudity. They didn't leave a lot. They left that to the imagination. They didn't leave a lot else to the
"Yeah,
imagination, but they made sure they were fully clothed while what,
yeah."
what was going on was going on. Um, so I want to read the book. So because when you watch the movie, I walked out and the first thing I said to my wife was like, I didn't know women could write smut back in the 1800s. I didn't know they allowed that. First of all, that was my first reaction. She was the book is nothing like the movie.
Okay.
Um, completely like there's they adapted it so there are portions of it that fit, but in terms of all that other shenanigans that had going on, yeah, no, that ain't that's not in the books, not in the books at all, or the book at all.
Listen. I cry in movies, so it's like, yo, I know, like, if I would see it, if it's like, I would be crying, bro. Like, I'm an emotional head case when it comes to like movies, like sadness and stuff. It's not good for me.
I don't think you would have cried at the end. Because here's the other part. I don't know how many redeemable characters there are in this movie.
Yeah,
Like there's one redeemable character in the movie. There is one for sure. Maybe because of how it ends, you might end up feeling something for the main character, whatever. I'm trying not to give out too many spoilers, but interesting flick. But it was Valentine's Day weekend. I'm a lover, not a fighter. So I was out all weekend, living it up with wifey, doing different things here and there. And so I missed dunk contest, missed the 3-point contest. Shout out to Dame Lillard. Shout out to I can see his face because
Showtime Johnson, Miami from the Heat.
Kashad, is it Kashad? Kashad Johnson,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Kashad Johnson. I can see his face. I know he's from San Diego State.
Big battle rap fan too. He follows me on Instagram. Like, I've talked to him before. Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So he won the slam dunk contest. From what I saw, highlights wise, were some creative dunks. Although again, I'm gonna get to this point in a second. I'm gonna put a pin in that. But then the game itself, the game was to me really good. Like, I was skeptical of the format. I still don't love it. I like it a lot more than I did going into it. But let me say this about the NBA, and especially about people online. I don't know what it is about you losers who get online. The super NFL season is done, and maybe now you have nothing better to do with your time, and you decide to show up and say, how can I hate on the NBA? Let's talk about this, that, and all this other negative stuff. I wish you people would go to Goofball Island and just go with your goofball tapes and just go amuse each other and leave the rest of us alone who simply want to enjoy the sport for what it is. I'm not saying that the NBA is perfect. I'm not saying it is not above critique or criticism, but you show up with your negativity and you jump online, and I want to smack you. I want to slap you and knock the taste out of your mouth, because you people make me sick. I'm sick of you. If you don't like it, don't watch. No one is forcing you to watch this. Don't bet on it. Don't watch it. Don't talk about it. Go away. And that goes for Stephen A. and anybody else. I'm naming him specifically by name because I saw a clip of him talking about Kawhi, and it was disgusting. It was ridiculous. Now that I got that out the way, let's talk about the game. I've seen 3 of the 4 games. I saw the final, I saw the Stars versus Stripes, and I think it's the Stripes versus World. I just put it this. I saw the young Guns versus the World. I saw the OGs versus the Young Guns. I haven't seen the
G's versus the World.
OGs versus the World.
Yeah, so you didn't see the De'Aaron Fox game winner?
No, I saw that one because that was the game between the old heads and the young boys.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah. The third game was the old heads versus the World. I missed that game because that's the game where Kawhi goes for 31.
Yeah.
That's the game where Kawhi goes for 31.
Wemby misses the 3 that sent him to overtime. Yeah.
Yes. So your thoughts on how that format played out for you this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, the games were really good. Really entertaining. I like the games a lot. I don't know. Format wise, I guess it's just one of them situations where it was like, okay, so whoever won the first game stayed up. The winner stays up. I don't know how they decide who plays in the first game. I don't know. Was that a coin flip? What that was?
That's a great question.
Who gets to go first, basically. Because no matter what, if you lose, you get fresh legs for the last game. So because if you stay up, you play the next team, and whoever wins in that game, one of those teams is going to play possibly you in the last game. Yeah. So I think there's a strategy, and I know that like Anthony Edwards and them didn't.
They won the first game. They lost the second game to the old heads on that De'Aaron Fox jumper to win it. He won it at the buzzer. Yeah. And so at that point, they got to take a break, and then the World played the old heads. Right. So the old heads basically played 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
They played 3 games in a row.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's why, obviously the first 3 games, I'm like, wow, this is really good. Then you get the fourth quarter, it's like, oh, this is a complete blowout. This is it sucks that this is the way it ended. You know what I mean? And But at the same time, like, yeah, those games were good. I thought the teams were pretty evenly matched. I didn't think. I mean, the young dudes are the young dudes. You know what I mean? When they go up against the old heads, like you can kind of tell because at the end of the day, they're playing, but they're not playing. I mean, Wemby was playing. You know what I mean? Like a couple of them dudes were playing, but
I think the majority of everybody gave effort, right? And I'm not going to
and
necessarily
I'm saying they're like 75%. They're at like 75 to 80, which they used to be at like 20. You know,
yes, yes,
so but I'll say this much though, and you knew that this had to happen. Like you sacrifice all the highlights like of the All-Star game when these guys start playing. Like there's no elbow passes, there's no between the legs, there's no off the backboard alley oops, there's none of that. So then you have to ask yourself like, what do you want to see in an All-Star game? Because I kind of like some of the flashy stuff. I'm like, dang, I'm not gonna get to see a windmill or when Stephon Marbury threw it behind Vadi Divac's head and caught it and shot it on the baseline, like you're not gonna get to see none of that creative stuff because there's just not room for it because people are playing now, to a certain extent.
yeah. I mean, I feel you on that. Although I feel like you got some good. So the sequence with Anthony Edwards hits the hezzy on KD, gets to the rim for the layup, trips. I forget which guard it was. Comes down, hits the three to take the lead late in that game against the OGs before De'Aaron hits the three to win it. Like I felt like that sequence was pretty dope. I think seeing defense and seeing Wemby, I have a new appreciation for Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey to me is a fringe MVP candidate. It was like he had a jetpack. How fast he was blowing. Like, so I think you're right. You're missing some of the flashiness of it, but I also think one, you're getting to see, at least as a kid, right? And maybe you can attest to this or not. We would sit there and have these hypothetical conversation of, well, if you put this person with this person, we
Yeah,
get to see how it goes. And I think we got to see in real time on national TV what it looks like when you take some of the best players in the world, you match them up on teams and say, who's better?
yeah,
Shout out to Wimby, like you said, for bringing that competitiveness. He tried it last year that nobody wanted to match him. And then I want to say shout out to Anthony Edwards because here's the thing about Anthony. Anthony does not want to be shown up in any way.
at all.
He thinks he challenges
I almost
Olympic
thought he was
teams.
just gonna go over there and battle rap Harry Mack. He might have went over there and been like,
Listen, and speaking of, right? I mean, listen, I came on this show and had my reservations about Anthony when he said, "Hey, I want to be a great rapper." Right? This is before he got drafted, and he taught. And there was an article about, man, I think I can rap. I think I can put out some of the best music in the industry. And I'm just like, son, like you're here to hoop though. Like if you
yeah,
can be Dame Lillard, that's amazing. Like we'll take that. But I don't want you to be Future.
yeah,
Respectfully, like I want you to be the best basketball player around. And so he has the belief that he is one of the best players in the game. And so when Wemby stepped it up, I'm I know he says he doesn't want to be the face of the league, but I feel like
he's
he's
half like
he's
sarcastic, like playing the. I think yeah,
yeah. I think it's part of it is sarcasm because I do think the league came in and stamped Wemby in a way that did not stamp him. And because he wants to be the man so bad, I think that fuels him. I think he uses that as motivation. And I think in this game, he's like, oh, nah, you're not about to outdo me. Let me get in my bag and let me show you what I can do. And
yeah.
congrats on him for winning MVP. Um, I, to me, and I'll tell you, you can tell me what you think of this. I think the league should run with this format one more year, run it back again. Hopefully, Shea and
Jokic and
Luca,
Luca.
Giannis, hopefully all those guys will be healthy and we can truly get the five best in the world, five best in America, right? Whatever that looks like. I think they should run it one more year with this version. I think 2 years from now, they should give us a full on world versus US All Star game with the 12 US. And if that means you have to fudge the numbers and make Cat a world player, granted, he does play for the Dominican Republic in FIBA in the international game. If you got to fudge the numbers to put some Americans on the
Yeah,
international
what was
side,
San Diego's own Norman Powell doing over on the world team?
so I want to say because Norman, I feel like Norman's ancestry is like a Caribbean Like his parents are like from the Caribbean. So I want to
Yeah.
say that that's me guessing that is why he ended up on that team.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't see it on his wiki page, so it might. I just might have made that up out of nowhere. Um, but yeah, so that's how I ended up there because there's not enough. There weren't enough international players. Although you could have gotten Josh Giddey on the squad, but again, you're talking about the NBA All Star thing still means something to be named the All
Yeah.
Star.
Yeah.
So you can't just
Yeah.
fill it out just to make the numbers up. So I would like to see them again do this format again next year. Maybe put in a little bit of a halftime performer to give whoever that team that is going to be playing that third game a
Yeah.
little bit of a chance to rest their legs, give them a break so they're not as gassed. But then the third year, just give us a straight US versus world 4 quarters. No 12-minute, 10-minute quarters, round robin style tournaments. And then after that, go back to East versus West.
What I will say is the new format, whereas maybe like I mentioned before, we didn't get the elbow pass or we didn't get like the highlight reel dunks that are um uh what is the word for um unattested, not attested. Like what is the
Uncontested?
uncontested. Whereas we didn't get like the uncontested flashy highlights, this format did offer multiple opportunities for moments. So you got the De'Aaron Fox three, you have the Scotty Barnes three, where Wimby's visibly irritated.
Super
You have
irritated.
the Wimby missed the three to go to overtime. So that it did because they're games in quarters, it offers, four opportunities for a buzzer beater or a lockdown end of quarter type of play. And I think that's important. I really loved one. I thought the guys looked like they were having fun, a little bit more fun than normal. But I loved like De'Aaron Fox's post. He posted a picture of like LeBron James coming up to him after he hit the three, and like they're doing whatever, and he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna get this frame to get him to autograph this." You know what I mean? It's like, when would
Mm.
De'Aaron Fox ever have LeBron James getting him to rock, him hitting the three? They're on the same team. And it's like that's just a cool moment for somebody who's already an all-star NBA player, and it provides another type of moment for them.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, hey, given what we've seen about LeBron, he might be a San Antonio Spur next year. I'm just saying.
Hey,
Just saying.
might be.
He might be a Spur next year.
That's true.
Let me shout out Kawhi Leonard, man, because he won't be on my top 5 list for MVP, but I've seen several analysts and people who really respect the game say this, that he's playing some of the best, if not the best basketball of his career. I haven't watched, like I said, I didn't get a chance to see the 31-point game. I saw a couple of clips and highlights of him getting buckets, and it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't uncontested. People were playing defense and he was just going
Absolutely.
off.
He got to his
Um,
spots like it was nuts.
Yeah, and so the Clippers right now, I believe, are in the 9 spot. They are. Let me double check that. I believe they're in the 9 spot. I don't think they'll get up to the 6
Is
seed
Darius Garland
with
going
them.
to come back this year, or is he done?
He's out indefinitely, and so that's why I don't think they're going to be able to make a serious run to get to like 7. So right now, they are 6.5 games behind the Suns for 7, for the 7th spot, or 5.5 games, excuse me. They are 7 games behind the Timberwolves for the 6th seed. Like last year, the Timberwolves were the 6th seed with 49 wins. They would essentially have to go something like 23-3. I think they got, or 22-2,
Jeez.
something like that, in order to just give them a chance, a shot to get out of the play-in. That's unrealistic. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
They have had one of the best records in the league since the new year, because at one point they were 6-21, right? So they're
Yeah.
20 and
They went on a 15-3 run or something like that in 18 games. But yeah,
yes,
they started off very
yes.
badly.
So they're 20-7, and the thing is, in that 6-21 stretch, they had double-digit leads in a lot of those games at certain points of those games and just weren't able to hold them. They blew a lot of fourth quarter leads, and so this is a team, had they been able to finish games with more efficiently or better, they would be a top 6 team. James Harden is probably still a Clipper, and we're not having this discussion of where they
Right.
are. But I think if Kawhi can somehow lift them to the 8th spot, I think some people might put him 5th. Like if he's able to continue to play, he might end up being 5th on people's ballots just because of where they started to where they finished. So I just wanted to shout him out, man. Just say, hey, great performance. It wasn't enough to win the whole thing, but shout out
Right.
to you, man. Shout out to you. Let's turn the page. Anything else you want to say about the All-Star game, All-Star weekend? All right, so let's close out and talk about tanking. Um, this was a big deal leading up to the All-Star break. You had the Jazz, you know, playing some of their best players, but sitting them in the fourth quarter in a game against the Magic. You had the Wizards. I think it was the Wizards and maybe the Pacers listing players out with illnesses. Wow.
At least now we know that.
I forget what was the other one. Is it
The thumbs
clapping?
up. The thumbs up. Yeah. Oh
There it
yeah.
is.
Yeah, there's
There it
multiple.
is. Anyway, listing players out with illnesses and people lost their collective minds. David Stern, Adam Silver responded that with several ideas. They're talking about abolishing the draft. I've seen that come out there and making it a free agency. My idea of the draft lottery, I've seen. Well, I shouldn't say my idea, but at least one of the ideas that I pitched about the draft lottery, I've seen that get thrown out there. Your stance on tanking and how it either helps or hurts the league.
Um. Yeah. I mean, it's not like it's all of a sudden something brand new. I mean, maybe it's a little bit more magnified with this whole like load management era that we've kind of been on over the past maybe decade or whatever. But it's not like this didn't happen back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, you know? Um I think that with betting, it's made it more of an issue. I think that's really a lot of the pressure comes on player prop bets and different things like that, and wondering if people are not playing for certain reasons and different things like that. Um, but like my thing, my solution to it all is to go to Seattle, go to Las Vegas, go to Kansas City, go to Nashville, get you four new teams, and let's play the relegation game. Let's play the relegation game. You want to tank
Where are you gonna relegate them to?
to
What
intramurals, and they gotta play. They gotta
the
play the
G
whole
League? The
the
G
G
League? They
League.
got
Those four teams, those four cities have a team in the G League, and we're gonna play the relegation game. And all right, I'll see you Washington Wizards playing the Iowa freaking Chancellors or whatever next
I
year,
forget
while
the
Kansas City has an NBA team.
I'm actually not mad at that idea. I'm actually I'm not mad at relegation. It would force people to actually play their team. But so I listen as a person who let me back up. Put the parlays down. And this isn't for this that is a lot of the problem. People are betting on stuff and back when I did place bets here and there was a day where I had like a 19 parlay. It was a $5 bet, $1,300 payout, and then one side, never forget it. Tim Duncan Spurs playing the Kings. I think in Sacramento that game it was like a 13 and a half point spread. They ended up losing by like 18, and I said, you know what? The NBA is just not for me. I think in the amount of time I spent betting on NBA games steadily decreased to zero. Right? So I get it. I get it. But here's the thing. Sports are because of the money, people look at sports as entertainment and sports as competition. And so for me, I want to see teams be better from a competition standpoint than I do from an entertainment standpoint. I understand that a sports uh you're putting together a product that you want people to pay for and all that good stuff, but it is competition first. So focus on putting together the best product on the floor. If that means you're going to lose games because you're trying to develop players, I get that. I'm with that. I feel like that's part of what OKC did. Other teams are taking that route. But to blatantly sit your best players, you are kind of slapping the fans in the face. It would have been better off if you just simply would have said, well, they can't play. Right. But to have, especially that Jazz game, because they were up by, I think, double digits at a certain point in that game, they were leading, I think, going into the fourth quarter. And because they sat their guys, it just, what are you doing? Like it is, you're not invested in trying to win, which is why I think the draft lottery is a great idea because it forces you to play to win and not to play to lose, both in the regular season and in the tournament. And so it's people, I think people want to lose their mind because they want to complain about something, they want to be mad about something. But I don't want to see, I do want I can't, that's not true. I was going to say I don't want
I
to see the
don't want the
lottery.
draft abolished. I don't like that. I don't like them just
Yeah, I
getting
don't
rid
want
of
the
it.
draft abolished, but I do think you have to incentivize teams to be better from top to bottom. And I think abolishing the draft lottery, like to me, that just means all the kids are going to want to go to LA and New York and Miami and all the biggest and best cities. And
Well,
I think the small markets suffer the most.
it's a good thing it's not like baseball where there's no salary cap. You know what I mean? So there is a good thing there. It's not like the Dodgers, where we're just kind of like, all right, yep, you guys are all on our team now. Um, so, but at the same time, I just, they talk about that end of the season tournament, for the pick or whatever. Right now it's supposed to be a lottery. I don't know. I mean, people think that's rigged all the time. I don't know if there's any truth to that or not. How often is the worst team in the NBA actually getting the top pick?
Yeah.
And then if you
Yeah.
look like at a year like this year, right? They said they anticipate like 11 of the first 12 picks to be like freshmen from college. You know what I mean? Like you got guys that are not tanking that are gonna get a guy that in a normal draft would be like a top 3 pick.
Potentially. Yeah.
You know, so it also depends on the year. On the year. Like we'll have a bunch of hoopla for a Cooper Flag year where he's like, oh, we have one generational talent and the rest of these guys. But this year it's like, yo, there's a lot of these guys out here. So
Yeah. 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 Did I lose you?
nope, I'm still here.
Sorry, I'm multitasking. Um, so I agree. I agree. I don't want to see the draft abolished. I like the draft. The draft is one of the great things about sports. But like I said, I just would like to see teams focus on trying to win. The thing I said this with Loso, the thing that bummed me out about the Bulls is they they are trying to tank now, but they have like 24 wins.
Yeah.
These other teams have 13 wins. Like you should have tanked, you should have got rid of all your good players in the offseason, and then you really could have tried to reset the team. And I just don't know what direction they're headed in. Like I am hate watching the Bulls right now because they're at least they were fun. Right. Like, and I just don't
Is
I don't
trading for guys that that are going to be out for the season a form of tanking? Like I'm wondering, like, yo, like the Wizards, like they're trading for Anthony Davis, or they're, like the Clippers trading for Darius Garland, or the Jazz trading for Jaren Jackson Jr. I've seen so many of these trades where these big guys, and it's like, yo, they're not playing the rest of the year. It's like, oh, is that like a smart way to tank? Where it's like, oh, we got an all-star guy, and we're still going to be trash, and then we're going to be able to pair him with a good player next year.
So what the Wizards, their pick is top 8 protected. So they
Mhm.
want to try to finish in the top 4 or 5 because if they do, it guarantees they won't fall any lower than 6. If they fall below like 8th, then their pick conveys, I think, to the Knicks. And so that's why they are sitting Trey Young, sitting AD, because they don't want to be good. They want to wait for one more year.
Yeah.
Um, So this comment says players in college need to be 2 years before going to the NBA. I mean, I agree, but I don't, because with the transfer portal, it's hard to get continuity. These guys are going to be moving around. And so, like, when you look at Caleb Wilson, to me, has nothing left to prove in college. I mean, Darren Peterson, he hasn't. He's missed so many games to injury. He doesn't have anything to prove, but yet and still, he kind of does.
Him being
AJ
on
the
the Wooden,
best.
him being on the Wooden Award list is just like, I'm like, come on.
That's nasty work. It's nasty work. You haven't played enough. Like
Played in 14 games.
I'm not a fan of the NBA 65 game rule. You got to play at least 65 games to be eligible for postseason awards. But like you can't. That's not enough games. You know what I'm saying? That's just not. It's not. I get it. He's a great player, but he shouldn't be on the list. But like most of these young boys who are playing right now, they don't have anything else to prove in college in terms of are they pro ready? They're ready to make their way. And hey, if it doesn't work, we already saw you can go back.
Yeah,
So you know
apparently
what I'm
so.
saying? Apparently, you can go back if it doesn't work out for you.
Yeah.
So, if Caleb Wilson is sitting on the end of a bench in Toronto or Brooklyn or Washington and Carolina needs a little bit of help, hey, come on back. We'll welcome you back with open arms. Um, but no, I'll say this last thing about tanking. And I feel like this was very illustrative of what happened. You talk about Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson Jr., I guess they found whatever the issue was in his knee when they did a physical for him. They were going to initially rule him out for the season. He said, no, I want to play a few games with these guys just to get used, just to get familiar with them, and then I'll get the surgery. AD could potentially come back this year if they wanted to. Trae Young could potentially come back this year if he wanted to. Most of the guys who got traded with injury, I think Darius Garland is the only one who's truly, granted, AD is hurt. Like, I don't want to make it seem like he's not hurt, right? But Darius Garland is the only one who really has the potential to be out for the season. Um, Load management is a organizational deal, not a player deal. Yes, are there players who don't want to play? Sure. But listen, you get to take a break off from dropping the fries every once in a while. You don't have to go, you know what I'm saying? You get PTO days. They should get PTO days too, for whatever reasons they deem them. However, most of these decisions are made by organizations, not by players. Organizations tank, not players. So I don't want to hear about load management. Frankly, if I hear about, there's a stat, and I don't know if I can find it fast enough, but there's a gentleman named Jeff Stotts who runs a site where he deals with injuries, not just in the NBA, but across sports in general, all the major sports. And like, he had a stat that something like maybe 2,000 or 3,000 games have been missed by players due to injury. And then like only 199 games have been to load management. Players are playing. If they're not, they are hurt. So stop pushing this narrative of load management. It's not true, at least not this year. And to me, I don't think it's been true the last couple of years. Players have been hurt, and that's just what it is. Let me see if I might have found it. Let me see. And I'll give the stat, we can get up out of here. So February 9th, total games lost to injury or illness, 4,253. Total games lost to rest or injury management, 199. Load management is not a problem in the NBA this year, folks. So the second I hear you talk about that, I'm going to give this Stephen A. treatment. I got you. You don't watch basketball. You don't watch like, you're not watching the games. You're not tapped in, and you out yourself every time you bring up load management.
Yeah, it's just whenever load management hurts the fan experience a little worse than an injury does, and that's just why it is. You know, when you see the sign that says "I drove 1,100 miles to come see," LeBron, and he just like, yeah, I'm not playing this back to back. I'm 42 years old. It's like, all right.
Yeah. Listen, the last no, I took my brother to New Orleans for his birthday a couple of years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago. I think it was post-COVID for sure. So it's maybe like 21, 22. We went to a Saints game on Sunday, Pelicans game Monday night, and the Warriors were in town. And for some reason, Steve Kerr made decisions to sit Clay, Dre, and Steph like 2-3 years in a row. And as we walk into the venue, this older gentleman comes up to me, and he is incensed. This is BS. This is like the second or third year in a row where Kerr is not. He's made all the guys take, like, they're here in the building. They can play for a quarter. Like, he was hot. He was hot. And so, I mean, listen, on one hand, I get it. People are being upset with the Jazz and how they did it, but at least they got to see the best players play, right? Like, they just didn't sit them out. And so, yeah, man, I don't know how they fix it. I hope they don't abolish the draft. Listen, tune into This Week in the NBA. I gave you the whole layout for the draft lottery, why you should do it, what the benefits of it. There's many benefits, very few cons. A year like this where you have a 14-team tournament to see who's going to get the rights to draft Darren Peterson or AJ DeBansa, that is ratings gold, especially if you have, let's just say the Washington Wizards, right? They get Trae Young and Anthony Davis, and they play them because they're healthy, but they're not good enough to make it out into the play-in or into the playoffs. You have a team that could potentially get the number 1 overall pick and add a generational prospect to a Trae Young, along with guys like Bub Carrington or Trey Johnson, right? Like, they have talent, and they have good young talent. And so, yeah, man, I think that would be a super fun idea. So, Anything else you want to say before we call it
Nah,
quits?
I'm good, man.
All right. So thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Please remember you can check out every episode of It's a Black and White Thing by going to the podcast app of your choice, wherever you get the good podcast. Give us 5 stars, leave a comment. You can also check us out here on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can tap in and know more. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It's them boys again. Hit the like button, jump in the comments, talk to us. We talk back. Until next time, it's been a black
And White,
a white thing, man. We'll holler at y'all next week. Y'all be easy.
it was